With imagination, you can turn ordinary things into marvelous ones. Hello, my name's Lloyd Alexander, and I'd like to show you some of my own things that I've used in my books.
Hello, we have been expecting you. My name is Janine. I guess you want to meet Lloyd.
Hi, you've met Janine. Come on in, there's some things I'd like to show you. Right over here, for example, this is my old harp. And what's fascinating is imagination is a marvelous thing, but it needs something to work on. And here's what I mean. I got this harp years before I even thought I would write for young people. And what happened was, as the temperature changed, the strings kept breaking. And I thought nothing of it for a number of years, as you can see. But when I began writing a book called The Book of Three, and was trying to think of an instrument that outrageous bard could carry, he was always stretching the truth, I thought of this harp and the strings breaking. And that's exactly what gave my imagination something to work on. So this is the reality that gets turned into something quite imaginary. And there's a lot of things around here. While we're over here, I've got to show you something very funny. Talking about the harp, here it shows up again. A friend of mine had this little statue made, and every time I feel depressed, all I need to do is look at it, and I crack up. This, of course, is Fflewddur Fflam, that outrageous bard, with his harp, with the broken strings. And the more you turn it, the funnier it gets. And you may notice there's a very strong resemblance between Fflewddur and his author. Rumor has it that we have very similar personalities. I will neither confirm nor deny that, but there he is. And also, what's interesting, these are other characters. These dolls represent the main characters from the Prydain books. There's Fflewddur again, looking a little bit different because it's a different imagination working on it. These were all made by a girl in California some years ago, and they're just amazing. There's Fflewddur Fflam, there's Doli, there's Taran, there's Eilonwy, and there is Gurgi sitting on a rock there. And these are the results of her imagination that came from reading the books. But there again, perfect example. Here's the real thing, and there's what became of it in imagination. When I began writing a book called The Remarkable Journey of Prince Jen, I suddenly realized that as a child, I owned most of the things mentioned in that book. And let me show you what I mean again. Here's the reality of it. In the book, there's a magical paintbrush and inkstone, and here they are. There is actually an inkstone and an ink stick, and there's the brush. Unfortunately, not magical. I've tried. Because what I got to admit, before I wanted to write, I actually wanted to be an artist. It's a blessing for the world that I wasn't able to do that, I suppose, but I really wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a painter, and still secretly in the back of my mind wished I had been. But fortunately, it's too late for that. I settled for being a cartoonist. Not only did I want to be a painter, I also wanted to be a musician, because I dearly loved music. and I dearly love Mozart. And in the course of time, both of those things, again, working through imagination, got turned into a book called The Marvelous Misadventures of Sebastian, which involves the misadventures of a young fiddler. And there is my fiddle, which in the course of the book became Sebastian's fiddle. And of course, there's Mozart himself. And it always fascinates me how the reality of things is transformed into fantasy and something completely imaginary. But these are the real things themselves, and the books, of course, are the end process of the imagination. Did I show you my Mickey Mouse? I got to show you my Mickey Mouse. Now, this is an old original Mickey Mouse, and I'm convinced he's almost as old as I am. And you can see he looks quite different. He looks a little more ratty than he does today. And of course, I'm sorry to say his tail is missing. I did not pull it off. One of my grandchildren did.